Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, again, my name is Nicholas Davison, and I'm the prosecutor in this case. I am the person responsible for presenting the evidence to convince you that John Diamond is a murderer. A person who should be kept away from society, where he might take another life. Last year in this country, there were 17,294 murders. 40% of those went unsolved. In this state, there were 495 of those murders occurred. And of that number, law enforcement only made 230 arrests. And of that number, only 147 were eventually prosecuted. 147. Fewer than one half of those murders in this state are behind bars. And because of that, they are out there walking our streets. Of the murders committed, 60% of the time the victim knew the assailant. And 40% of those were instances of domestic violence between couples, like Ms. Doyle and Mr. Diamond. The overwhelming majority of those victims were women, such as Ms. Doyle. And this time, I hope that you, each and every one of you, will recognize your opportunity to make certain that this man, John Diamond, will never hurt another person. In my colleague's opening statement, he mentioned that we would call numerous witnesses to testify as to the defendant's state of mind. We also have presented physical evidence of his guilt. Each witness testified, as my colleague explained they would, and we have established the following facts well beyond a reasonable doubt. The night before Trudy Doyle was killed, Johnny Diamond had a plan. He planned to go to California and start over. He had packed his car the night before, but he didn't plan to go alone. His testimony from cross-examination is that he packed his things along with Miss Trudy's. He packed Trudy Doyle's things himself. And Diamond had told Joseph Foster that he was leaving town and taking his girl with him. His own testimony is that he had packed and asked Trudy to marry him. There was just one problem. Trudy was reluctant. She told Beth Kelly that she was reluctant about getting into another bad relationship. We also know that Diamond was jealous and controlling of Miss Doyle. We know that Trudy was mad about his behavior. We know this from Eric Mason, who testified about being harassed at a traffic stop because he had made Miss Doyle laugh. A simple laugh. And that mere act made Mr. Diamond so upset that he dragged her away out of sheer jealousy. He also told us that Trudy had been furious about this after finding out what Mr. Diamond did. So now we have a picture, a beautifully painted picture of a man with a plan. We have a woman who is not sure about this plan, not sure about him. This man, John Diamond, walked into the truck stop cafe that morning and expected Trudy to go along with his plan. He had her things packed in his car. sitting in the booth of that diner for at least a half hour, watching Trudy ignore him, watching Trudy not come over to him, watching Trudy embarrass him, and then watch her go, walk, and leave towards the exit, he knew it was over. When Trudy got up to leave, he headed towards the exit to meet her. Mr. Diamond decided that he was not about to let her leave, so he confronted her. And she confirmed, ladies and gentlemen, she confirmed what he already knew. So, he drew his gun and he killed that poor woman. The physical evidence is overwhelming. He shot the gun. The evidence is on his hands. The trajectory of the bullets which entered Miss Doyle's chest were fired from a downward angle. He was a much taller person. The bullets that killed her were from his gun. A gun that Mr. Doyle himself owned, not his police weapon. He made good on what he had told her. If anyone is going to kill you, I am. As he sat in that diner waiting for her, he decided that if it wasn't going out with him, she wasn't going anywhere. The defense, of course, would like you to believe that Trudy Doyle committed suicide. Now, I would like you all to think about that for one quick moment. Think about that. Would a woman who was willing to commit suicide, who had just finished working all night long, would not rush home to take pills or blow her brain out and just off herself, but instead would sit in a booth with all of her friends for a half hour, laughing and talking jovially at the diner, and then at some point getting up to go and buy a pack of gum? Does that sound like someone who's contemplating suicide to you? Mr. Diamond has every motive to lie because he doesn't want to be held accountable for his actions, just like anyone who commits such an egregious atrocity against an innocent person, because it doesn't fit with his plan. It is imperative that the people in a moral society be held accountable for their actions. The argument of the defense concerning this poor dead woman's mental instability and proclivities for self-harm are of no merit here, and a moment to amount to nothing more than mere conjectures and excuses for the inexcusable actions of Mr. Diamond. Whether this man is remorseful or not is of no consequence to the state. He committed a grievous wrong, and as a just society, we must force him to pay his debt, not only to Miss Doyle and her family, but to the greater society at large. Law and order isn't simply something that we find on television 4 nights a week, ladies and gentlemen. Our integrity as a people is inextricably bound up with the fact that we have and are a nation of laws. You as jurors took an oath to uphold that very law. Mr. Diamond is charged with murder in the 1st degree. And to prove this crime, the state of Nita had the obligation of presenting evidence that Diamond deliberated about committing the crime. He had 30 minutes in the truck stop cafe to deliberate, to weigh his actions, and we, the state, have the obligation to prove intent. He wore a loaded gun and he fired that gun into Trudy Doyle's chest. Those gunshots unquestionably caused her death, and we have proved the elements of this crime well beyond a reasonable doubt. In conclusion, we would ask that you find the defendant guilty as charged of murder in the first degree. Johnny Diamond still hopes he can simply start over in California. Well, I'm here to tell you that Trudy Doyle and her family will never have that opportunity and will never get the chance to start over. Thank you.